welcome. This is breaking news at whatever time this news is playing. Royal Mail ship RMS Titanic has struck an iceberg in the Atlantic Ocean and has floundered to the very bottom. As you can see here, the giant ship hits the iceberg and turns around it. It fails, obviously, and the wall breaks away. The giant ship has 16 compartments. It can stay afloat with 4 flooded, but 5 do. As you can see here, the front of it starts to sink down, and they are throwing the lifeboats off with the people inside it. The water gathers up, and soon the ship is halfway underwater. Such a tragedy.
You can call me Queen.
The ship was known as the unsinkable ship, since it was the largest thing ever built by man, and it was big, and it was made out of iron. They said God himself couldn't sink that ship. Anyway, it was travelling from Southampton, New England to New York City, but it never made there. 37 of the deaths have been recorded by one of our trusty news reporters who were on the ship at the time of the sinking. I will now list how they all died and their names. And how they lived. Tanya the teacher. She was one of the many, many victims of the Titanic sinking. She panicked and drowned. Matt Whitty. He was crushed by a chandelier in his desperate attempt to escape. Karamea Bastow. Alexandra would try and save her and fail. They drowned. Naomi George. She would strategically sit on a piano and float to safety. She lived, which is good. Haley Lynch would ride on one of the safety boats and live. Ava Birkinshaw James. She was pushed off the boat, but she lived. Mason Irving would look at the pretty fishes and pass away. Armin Anwar would jump on an iceberg and his head would explode. R.I.P. Ashley Rombell. He would live because he's a kid and they have to let him live because he's a kid. Jamie Boma would save as many people as possible before getting on a lifeboat himself. Not all heroes wear capes, guys. Hannah Collins would drown saving Karamea. Good job, Hannah. You drowned. Oscar Owens would jump into the water and drown. Smart. Catherine Hubbard would find an abandoned lifeboat and live as God. Tilly Walkup would drown saving her guitar. Died. Amika Vessels. She got her weave snatched and got into a fight with the weave snatcher and they both fell off the boat together. Ellie got pushed. Tess Mellon.
That's rude.
would drown someone else and use them as a door to float on until she got to safety. She lived. Nice thinking, Tess. Olivia Stiles was shoved off by Allie Williams and eaten by a whale. She died. Elaine Chen would eat crabs and live. And sacrifice Zoe to the water gods. Alma got pushed off the edge and died. Rip. Yanni would live because they have to let her live because she's a child and she made them live. Espiritu. Henry Bass would pull a Jack Sparrow by going to the top of the sinking ship until it sank. Brooke Suisala would put on all the warm clothes she has and jump onto the iceberg and live. Lauren Hoskins would make a TikTok, go viral, and all of the TikTokers would come and save her. She lived. Livy Harris would be too sexy for Leo, so he would push Rose off the door and let her on. She would live. Lance Allen Lucas would escape on a piece of large debris and use a wooden plank as an oar. We may honour everyone that plunged into the minus 2.2 degrees Celsius water on that one fateful night. It took the Titanic 2.5 hours to sink into the bottom of the freezing Atlantic Ocean. My news report is coming to an end.